السلام عليكم. محاضرتنا بعنوان Resin Based Composite Part 1. Composite is introduced in 1962 and it is the most popular tooth killer material, which consists of continuous polymeric or resin matrix in which an inorganic filler is dispensed. Indications of this material in class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 restorations: foundations of core buildup, fissure sealant and conservative composite restorations, prevent resin restorations, aesthetic enhancement procedure اللي هي تشمل partial veneers, full veneers, tooth contour modifications and diastema closure. Also, it is used as a cement for indirect restorations and temporary restorations. Contraindications of composite resin material included an operating area that cannot be adequately isolated, يعني blood and saliva we cannot control. In class 5 restorations that are not aesthetically critical, restorations that are extend to the root surface may exhibit gap formation. ليش؟ لأنه bonding of the composite to the enamel هيكون أكثر من bonding to the dentine and cement. لذلك bonding مالتنا يكون ضعيف مما يؤدي إلى gap formation. The advantage of composites include the aesthetics, which is more tooth killer match, conservative of the tooth structure removal, less extensions, uniform depth not necessary, mechanical retention usually not necessary like amalgam, less complex when preparing the tooth, low thermal conductivity, bonding to the tooth structure resulting in good retentions and low micro leakage, minimal interfacial staining and increased strength of remaining tooth structure. Finally, it is repairable materials. We can add another materials when it is structure without the need to remove all the materials. Disadvantages may result in gap formation, usually occurring on the root surface as a result of process of polymerization, shrinkage of the composite material. The restorations is more difficult and time consuming and costly مقارنة بالأمالجام, are more technique sensitive because it need a good isolations for placement of etchant and primer and adhesive on the tooth structures, and it may exhibit a greater occlusal wear in the area of high occlusal stress. لذلك it is contraindication في the area of higher occlusal stress. It have a higher linear coefficient of thermal expansion. لذلك المارجن ممكن انه تفتح عندنا اذا كان عندنا inadequate bonding technique. Compositions of resin composite material. First, organic resins, which forms a matrix واللي يشمل dimethacrylate monomer. المكون الآخر هو inorganic filler. This is inhibit deformations of the matrix, reduce the coefficient of thermal expansions of the resin matrix اللي أمثل عليها تكون fused silica, crystalline quartz, lithium, aluminium silicate and borosilicate glass, and it is give better mechanical properties such as a compressive strength, and it is give greater aesthetic for the restorations and confers the radio opacity. مثل ما نشوف بهاي الصورة الريزن ماتريكس والفيلر اللي هي الدوائر الموجودة داخل الريزن ماتريكس اكو عليها الكابلنج ايجنت. الكابلنج ايجنت unite the resins with the filler and act as a stress absorber of the filler and resin. الانيشيتر سيستم هي مادة تضاف to activate the setting mechanism. الsetting mechanism سواء chemically أو by the light، فالانيشيتر هي اللي حتبدي التفاعل. المكون الآخر هي stabilizer and pigment. Classifications of composite. طبعا احنا عندنا أكثر من classifications للcomposite. الكلاسيفيكيشن اللي عندنا حتكون على السايز of the filler particles، وممكن نقسمها إلى conventional, microfold, hybrid، والهايبريد ممكن أن ينقسم إلى flowable و packable والنانو كومبوزيت اللي نانو فولد اللي هو completely نانو فولد أو نانو هايبريد، وأخيرا اللي هو الرينفورست. Conventional composite يتكون من 75 إلى 80% inorganic filler by the weight. average particle size 8 مايكرون. تعتبر هذا السايز large size particle and extremely hard filler which give rough surface structures for the composite. الأمثلة عن الفيلر strontium and barium glass which is radio opaque in X-ray. مثل ما نشوف بهاي الصورة الكونفنشنال كومبوزيت والبارتيكل سايز حتكون كبيرة وتنطينا الريجولار سيرفيس أو الرف سيرفيس. Microfold composite, it is a polishable type of composite, have a smooth lustrous surface similar to the tooth structure because it have a small size particles which is around 0.01 to 0.04 micron, and it is contain 35 to 60% inorganic filler by weight. Some of physical and mechanical properties are inferior لتشمل wear resistance, low modulus of elasticity, allow restoration to flakes. It have a high resin content, results in an increase in coefficients of thermal expansion and lower strength. مثل ما نشوف هنا السيرفس مالتنا يكون سموث، ولكن الفيلرز تكون حجمها أقل وكميتها أقل، لذلك حتأثر على الوير ريزيستنس على strength of the composite. This type of composite used for the low stress restoration اللي تشمل لنا class 3 and class 4. Hybrid composite combines the properties of conventional or macrofold and microfold composite. It is contains 75 to 85% inorganic filler by the weight. The particle size حتكون من 0.4 to 1 micron. The physical properties is superior to conventional. This material predominant direct aesthetic resins and have universal clinical applicability. هاي الصورة توضح لنا الهايبريد كومبوزيت. البارتيكلز تجمع بين البارتيكل السايز واللارج والسمول وهاف smooth surface. The use of hybrid composite in moderate stress restorations where strength and wear resistance are more important than surface luster, used in class 1, 2 and class 4. ممكن أن نقسم الكومبوزيت according to its viscosity إلى flowable composite و packable composite. A flowable composite, it is flow into the cavity due to lower viscosity, have lower filler contents, inferior physical properties, lower wear resistance and lower strength, and used in a small class 1 pit and fissure sealant and marginal repair as a liner. It is easy to use. مثل ما نشوف بهذه الصورة يجي على شكل تيوب، ممكن انه نضغطه مثل السرنجة فيطلع flowable, good weightability and favorable handling properties and clinical indications for their use are limited. Packable condensable composite, it is more viscous, thicker, stiffer fill, have filler particles features that prevent sliding of the filler particles by one another. It is easier restorations of proximal contacts. ممكن نسوي proximal contact أسهل because it is similar to the handling of amalgam. مثل ما نشوف بهاي الصورة هي عبارة عن تيوب وعندنا more viscous materials ممكن أنه نشيلها بواسطة البلاستيك instrument. Nanofold composites contain filler particles that are extremely small, 0.005 to 0.001 micron, small particles and high filler levels resulting in a good physical properties and aesthetic. It have a higher polishable material because of small particles. These materials are likely to become a popular composite restorations material choice. النانوفولد resin ينقسم إلى completely nanofold and nano hybrid resins. Completely nano-filled resins contain nanometer-sized particles throughout the resin particles, while the nanohybrid resins consist of large particles surrounded by a nanometer-sized particle. Reinforced composites. It consists of a combination of resin matrix, randomly orientated e-glass fiber, and inorganic particular fillers. It is used as a filling materials in high stress bearing area, especially in large cavities of vital and non-vital posterior teeth. Classifications of composite according to the method of activation. First, chemically activated composites. It is called self-curing composite resins. Most commonly available as two-phase systems composed of the catalyst and base materials. When these two components are properly mixed, the polymerization process is chemically activated. The materials have a limited working time and possibility of air bubbles incorporations during mixing of the two pastes, and thus affecting the composite physical and mechanical properties. Light activated composites are single component and require no mixing, and so have reduced porosity. It is better resistant to wear and abrasions. The working time is virtually that chosen by the clinician, and the material hardens rapidly when exposed to light. The mixture is supplied in various shades in disposable syringe, and these syringes are made of opaque plastic to protect the material from exposure to light. Dual-cured composites combine self-curing and light-curing materials. The self-curing rate is slow and is designed to cure only those portions that are not adequately light-cured, especially in the interproximal areas when the access is limited, and requires special approach to guarantee adequate light curing energy. Thank you for your attention.